This is Dave Mustaine from Megadeth, and you're listening to Metal on KLQ with Greg Giles. There's a lot of stuff that's a lot harder to quit than other stuff, and you know, I think that if you're talking about the heroin days, you know, those were hard. It's life is totally different for me, and I have a lot of responsibilities. I've got my radio station, my tour, my books coming out. You know, we've got this thing that's been going on with Slayer that looks like it's continuing to grow like territories, and
yeah,
you know, Endgame is doing great around the world. I've got a lot of stuff with my amplifier company, with the work with Marshall. I've got a lot of stuff going on with Dean. I've got the live line that's happening, the coffee company that's going on, and my personal stuff with my studio, with the school, and with my production desires that I have, you know, the ventures that I've got going on. So I don't have time to be a recreational drug user.
I know it's been many years now, but I just wanted to ask a little bit about that.
Well, you know, the bummer is that people talk and they say stuff and they think that it's cool to say stuff, and you know, unless you know, you don't know.
Exactly.
You have you have not harmed me at all, man. You're just asking a question. If I didn't want to answer, I wouldn't have answered it.
Cool. All right, man. I'm gonna finish up best Dimebag Darrell story if you got one, real quick.
Well, you know, we were close for a short period, and then something happened where MTV really burned me and used them in the burn. And I was offended at MTV, and I said something, and unfortunately it had drawn them back into the foray, and we didn't have a lot of time that we were friends after that. Of course, now you know, Vinnie and I are friends, and Rex and I are friends, and Phil and I are friends, but not in like a group setting, if you know what I mean, and you know why. My only story with Darrell, but this is probably one of the most righteous stories of them all, they were just babies at the time, and we had come through, and they saw a piece Elspeth who's buying, and it pretty much, by Darrell's own admission, and Vinnie will attest to this, changed their world. And that's one of the highest compliments I had ever had as a musician, was when I had heard that Darrell had completely changed his approach to music and to playing based off of P-Cells. So I wanted to look into this guy, and after So Far So Good So Wet, we needed a guitar player. So I thought, I've seen him, I've heard him, I know how he feels about me. That means that he would be good to work with, because he's already got a bit of that mentality where he knows where we're going. He knows how I operate. Let's give it a try. Call him up. Hey, Darrell, it's Dave Mustaine. Well, hey, man, how you doing? Doing pretty good, Darrell. Hey, listen, you know what? Me and Junior are, we had to make a change with Chuck and with Jeff. He goes, yeah, I heard something about that. And I went, okay, well, I'm calling because I wanted to talk to you about being my guitar player. Man, you kidding? And he's doing all the swear words and stuff like that, which I'll spare you. But then he goes, okay, well, can I bring my brother? And I said, well, yeah, sure. Well, who's your brother? I didn't know who Vinnie was at the time. I didn't know what he meant. I thought maybe it was somebody else. And he goes, my brother Vinnie. And he goes, he plays drums. And I said, oh, well, we've already got a drummer. We just got Nick Menza. And that was the fork in the road that changed the destiny of Pantera and Megadeth forever. At that moment, if I would have said, okay, Darrell, you and Vinnie can come, it would have been me and Junior and Darrell and Vinnie.
Wow.
Yep. It's all Nick's fault.
Nick, back in the day, man, he always had the coolest drum risers. You guys still do have the coolest drum risers. I assume that you're creating those visions.
Yeah, that was one of my ideas, and I really like that. You know, another guy that grabbed one of my ideas, believe it or not, Ellefson was sleeping with the assistant manager for Motley Crue, and not the guy, the girl. And,
I hope so.
So he ended up marrying her, and he was telling her a bunch of my shit. So one of the things he said to her was this idea that I had about a drum riser. I said, listen, Nick, I want you to get like a bucket seat, because I just had a really cool Z28 with the Recaro bucket seats. I said, get a bucket seat, get a 5-point restraint, we'll get you like one of those Simpson racing harnesses, harnesses, and we'll put you in there, and we'll mount all your stuff, because we used to have his stuff in the very beginning. It was all screwed down to a piece of wood. And so I thought we would have it just flip upside down. So I told him that we were going to do it, and he told her, she told Doug Thaler and Doc McGee, and the rest is history.
Tommy
Lee. The other thing that I told him, Junior, was I wanted to have these Marshalls, like 3 in a row, stacked one right behind the other. And we start playing, it looks like we've got 1 row of Marshalls, but then over the course of the concert, the other 2 layers of Marshalls continue to rise. So at the end, you've got these 3 Marshalls high. They're stacked, not one on top of another, staircase going back. But I said that, that was my idea, and someone goes, "Oh, they did that too," and I went, "What? Oh my God, I'm going to," I was beside myself. So I don't talk about my stage ideas anymore, and we haven't really had anything significantly different for quite a while. We're going to try with this new record to really try and step things up, because I kind of feel it's the time for me to make a statement, and I'm getting up in years and getting older, and been playing for a really long time. There's a lot of great bands out there that I'm thinking about passing my torch to, and I think that just standing there and playing after a while, it doesn't leave the fans with a lot to go home with. With Megadeth being such a colorful, poignant band with the lyrics and everything, I think that if there was more imagery to back it up, people would dig it. And also, when we play in some of these places, they can't see my hands, they can't see Chris's hands. We need to have projection that's going to show those close-ups of that guitar work. We don't try and make it complex just for our benefit.
Right.
It sounds good, and we want the fans to hear it.
I just want to thank you, man, for being so professional. Every time that I do get to talk with you or meet you, you're always that way, and I appreciate it. And
I appreciate that.
Last question of the night, and you don't have to answer it, but who's the bigger douchebag, Kanye West or Lars?
Oh, I wouldn't say that about Lars. I can tell you, I don't know that Kanye West is a douchebag, but what he did was reprehensible, and it just shows you the way that the world is right now, and how afraid we are of doing the right thing. Because I tell you this, if that was somebody doing that to a sister, if that was like, guys in say, a metal band walking up and doing that to a lady of color, the outcome would have been totally different.
It would have been a racial controversy, no doubt.
It would have been. It would have been, and it would have gone that way, which is sad in America, because we're really trying to do things differently here. I think that just that whole mentality of thinking that you can do that kind of stuff regardless, white or black, yellow or brown, I think that that's just the way that this world has become, where people think that they can just say whatever they want without doing anything. We've already touched on that in this interview.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go back to being a nation of decent people, because that's what America was made on. We were so proud at one time, and we're such backbiting, knife-wielding gossips, and it's just so horrible.
Yeah. The new album, Endgame, go pick it up. It's a must. Megadeth, of course. Dave Mustaine, thank you. We will see you with Machine Head. Thank you, Dave Mustaine.
You got it, buddy.
All right. Good night, man.